Let me give you an idea of where this park went. Imagine, what you're seeing right here was the start of a big canvas that we were working with throughout. This started it all. Essentially, it became something big. And what we got in the end was it turned from this into this. Wow, that is amazing. Hiya Borkers, I'm Jalen Fulf, and welcome back to Planet Coaster for what could be the next to last time we see each other for this game. Last time we were here, we finished up on a particular scenic route through a bunch of rides. But today marks the very end of the series. Off camera, I was doing a whole lot in terms of final touch-ups and scenery, and kept a promise to you all that, yes, every single ride in this ride, well, bar a few workshop-themed stuff, every single ride in this ride, bar a few, are designed after some of you guys. Maybe one YCH, but most other rides in here are already marked for you guys. Now, this video is basically just going to be a show-off of all of the rides and showing them off in their test phase. As I'm... Now, this video is going to be a little show-off of what's happening in the park and getting... Now, in this video, I'm just going to show off the rides, explain the whole scenic process behind all of these rides, and just finalize everything. On Friday will be the whole Ride the Rides, and somewhere in between both episodes, I'll upload this to the Steam Workshop. So, within the next few days, expect this park and a few blueprints from this park to be uploaded to the Steam Workshop. Happy fun times, because I'm basically done with this. It's almost time for you guys to have a chance to improve it a little bit if you need be, because not only did I have to do a little stuff of my own, there are a few moments here and there where I've used a couple of workshop items to make things work. So all credits to any workshop creators will be made probably in the description as well as in the workshop item when I get the chance to edit the description. So on that note, before I get started, I'm going to go ahead and just put everything on test. We're going to leave the park closed, and when I upload this park to the workshop, this park is going to remain closed, just for the sake of making sure that the frame rate for you guys is okay. Because I know with 20k plus guests, the thing lags like hell, even on high settings. So, just to be on the safe side for you guys. Anywho, onward to the test, and I think the only few that don't need testing are those that basically don't have a test feature. So in other words, let's go ahead and test. Alright, now our adventures in our Jalen and Friends park here will start off in the plaza of our park. I've basically, before this little oval right here, I've basically had to redo this whole section. This was a very big mess way back when. I've had a mess trying to work with the path work. I was still very new to the process and just trying to understand how to even make paths in this game. Now that has changed, I've learned a few tricks here and there, and somehow I've turned this into somewhat of a perfect oval that will work perfectly for any park. Well, there is one thing I do need to fix, and that's basically this bench. But other than that, we're all set in this area. But yeah, this little area with this whole little oval area near the first entrance of the monorail, which I'm going to describe later on. Other paths have also been fixed, as well as some other scenery to go with it too. Like for filling purposes, I've included this little Chief Beef restaurant, which I found on the Steam Workshop. A little fountain over here, which has its place. And then a couple of places that could also... Well, I'll tell you right now, some workshop items, a frontier shop, the Jalen Land sign, as you can see right here, it is a modified version of something from Fog that can be found on the Steam Workshop. For those of you in the Planko community will know of the creator Fog that used to make a lot of workshop content way back when. Doesn't do it anymore, but I'm surprised that the things still hold up to this day. And look at these lights too. If you go into the nighttime setting, I go into 12 a.m., I make sure that these things stay lit. Even partially. On another note, I do intend to have some other things. For instance, there's another shop over here that comes from the workshop that's a lot of colorful features, like an information booth, bathrooms, a couple of places to indulge in the storefronts. The late DJ Technoid, I got a little influence off of his work. The late man, may he rest in peace. I got a little influence off of him to make this, to get this fountain in place. I used to have it in the front of the park, but for some reason I just felt it was nice to have it down here to give it more scenery. Oh my god, and I just noticed a couple more things that need to be fixed. Really, honestly, guys, when you showcase things off, there's a lot of things that do cross your mind, and that's one of them. Now, I'm gonna give you this ride a little early. Erie Elevation is like a Frontier blueprint that's based off of a flat ride, the Horror Heights. And it has a little story that is dedicated to the specific thing, and you can definitely see a couple of sparks and explosions coming out of it, which kind of sweetens the deal. I've also gotten the courage to make a sign specifically for this particular thing, and it also uses a couple of Fog's fonts here and there, so props to that. I am not going to put this up on the Steam Workshop because of the usage of the other workshop items, but still, it's nice to have. Hopefully I put the right colors for it for you guys. Otherwise, would I even be surprised? And as you notice, a lot of the other shops in here, for instance, we have this toilets over here, the food and drink stalls over here, the ATM, all of those were Frontier designs. Again, more popcorn balls from the late DJ Technoid, and a couple of other stuff. This lake. I could tell you right now, there was, for those that remember, there was a lake over here near Temple Adventure, this Armada ride over here. There used to be a lake over here. That is long since gone and is now moved all the way over here. And on top of that, I also got the courage to go ahead and give myself a little sequencing practice, if you will, by adding a little sequence of fountains across the lake to give it a little show rather than just put a ride down on it. Like I've been doing this whole entire series. I try my best, guys. I try my best. It might not look like a natural lake, but we want to make something good. Again, over here, I've kind of had to put a move to Gunslinger and put it a little closer to the edge of the park. It is the same principle. You are kind of required to have, if you want to put the whole experience down, you are required to have the Thememaker's Toolkit items that are in this particular blueprint. However, I chose not to include them in here, just to keep you guys going vanilla. I mean, you are allowed to put Thememaker's Toolkit items in your version of the park. And this is where I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you do have an amazing edit to the park, please feel free to let me know and show off those edits. I am going to be happy about it. But we continue on. This car day vending area with the classic crane machine, the gumball machine, all these other machines. The vintage stuff. This is a vintage area. I kind of want to get another storefront down here. But speaking of storefront, similar to how things were, I've had a little terraforming thing down here and didn't really want to focus too much on having a tunnel. And given this path needed a ramp down rather than going downstairs, this became a bridge, this came up here, and everything's still fine the way it is. And the store down here, really not, the little mall down here isn't really changed all that much, just some touch-ups here and there, even with path work if need be. Probably not noticeable. Hotel stays relatively the same place the way it is. I had to make a couple edits to some rides, particularly some transport rides, including the trams, the people mover. A couple of spots here and there that needed editing. And yeah, not too much problematic there. The monorail had a huge improvement as well. Oh, and I got a little more trees to satisfy the jungle area, to try and give it a more defined approach, if you will, and not just have it in place. Speaking of jungle, I wanted to have a little bit of a... Given the path work needed a little bit of improvement, the jungle area had to be shortened just a tad. So the jungle area now goes down here instead of down here, which makes this path a little more accessible. So that's that part. I've added an extra little set of paths down here to include, as well as the little triangle area to make sure guests go that way. Similar to the triangle area over here where the carnival section is. But as far as the now going back to the monorail, I kind of wanted to try a little more tourist attraction section of the park rather than just cut through areas. Decided instead to just go around here and go the whole way around rather than just take an autocomplete approach. So you can easily see, same approach, it goes like this, goes around like that, goes to the side of the paths, stops here where the Janeland thing is. And it also is a hub section, a little transfer, if you will, between the hotel shuttle, the people mover, and this thing! Folks, if you were watching part 12 of my series, you would have known that one time in my park, I had a gondola. A chairlift in my park to get from height A to height B. An easy access, if you will, to the bottom section. It's not in the same place anymore. I've had to remove it over the course of the series, but it is back. It is back, and somehow decorated after the old Blueberry. And speaking, Blueberry Fulf, if you will, Jalen. And yeah, just a easy turn downward into two little huts that will serve as entry and exit hubs. Kind of not very best scenery type things, if you will, but kind of the best approach if you think about it. And they're all marked. So yeah, that's settled. Continuing with the monorail, though, we have this going down all the way over here towards the boomerang that I had. And then it goes into the jungle area with its own little set of... with its own little hub, like... If you guys remember me building this, I don't remember if I ever built this on stream, on a recording, but if I ever did build it, it did have this like modern wooden setting, but I also got the courage, because it needed lighting, to include a little bit of lights on the thing. And I'm going to be honest with you, the lighting on here makes this thing look a little bit impressive, even if the interior is a little dark. I mean, it is something that you guys can fix. I'm not really bothered to go back and fix it. And now, even though a lot of things have been moved, for instance, Clear Ice is now on land rather than on water. That looked ugly on a lake. The monorail now dives through here, continues through my coaster, which I have already marked as my success story. It cuts through the other hybrid coaster, and back to the station as usual. So there you go, that's your monorail. And now, with that set in stone, I'm going to start going to the rides. First coaster, as some of you may already know, I've built this success story coaster and have marked it as, well, this is where I said, oh, I want to name and decorate rides after you guys. Essentially, this is the coaster that I was like, hell yes, I'm doing this. I'm putting this as my coaster. And this coaster in particular is going to become a blueprint, probably modified to an extent to try and get this to work the way as intended. So, same as always, the way when it was built was like that, and yeah, I'm probably not going to have priority pass on this when I make this as a blueprint. It is going to be modified to an extent to try and get things working the way it's supposed to, and I'll try to give you guys a guided queue path and a little bit of a guide to how things should work around the queue path system. But other than that, we hope to get you guys working with this ride in your own parks. I move on down here to the other hybrid coaster where, for those that don't know, I have a fictional family within the furry fandom, and I've marked my Mama Pikafox, Pikachu 979, as the owner of this coaster right here. It's the same layout as the when I built it all the way back early in the series, this Malice Unchained, except now through the tunnel, you can see if I'm being very careful with it, you can see there's a little bit of a static electric panels all across the whole entire tunnel. Well, the section of tunnel, if you will. And they're triggerable. They're triggered. They're basically triggered to an extent. How many rides do I have running on here? 2? Okay. So essentially we have a second one running up here, and if I let this run, I will show you guys the static running through. And if you watch. Yup, triggerable electricity. To indicate that the Sona of Pikachu uses electricity on its moveset. Moving on from the Malice Unchained, we move on to the original wooden coaster. I'm going to go out of order from when I originally built these, so please bear with me. I'm going to go on to my original wooden coaster that was once a monster that was so desperately, terribly built that I decided instead of building that, I wanted to have a more clean design approach to the wooden coaster and decided to go instead with a Zephyrus design, which I felt was kind of more appealing to me. This one is dedicated to a minor furry in the fandom, a underage furry by the name of Tommy Awu on Twitter. They call it Tommy's Wooden Howler, essentially after the persona. And if you look carefully at the fireworks, I'm gonna let this coaster run. It's basically the same, just with the minor additions to the station, the colors and everything, and as well as the Q-Path flora. And if you look carefully at the fireworks, woo! And there it is. I kind of needed a little bit of wolf howling in my park, honestly. And even when I showed this to the Plinko guys, I can probably post a screenshot in the Discord, but when I showed this to the Plinko guys, one of the experienced builders actually reacted with a wolf howl emoji. How cool. It really shows you how much we share a common value with these creative minds. Now on to what's next door with this water coaster, a Cascade. I've decided I wanted to make it more of a temple-istic theme because of the winner of this coaster. And folks, I've decided to approach this with a Wikipedia editor by the name of Psychoma1. I'm going to try to get the name of the person underneath my webcam for you guys to get an idea of what their name is like, but that's how I pronounced it. But yeah, it's basically lizards. Essentially speaking, the persona for this person is a lizard god. Oh, by the way, before I go on with the coaster, new restaurant here, just to give more of a restaurant vibe to the entire coast, to more the entire park as well. Just instead, because I almost had a Screamator over here and moved it, kind of wanted something to go in place. But anyway, as was stated before, we have the guests entering the tunnel, the legend of Psychoma. Enter the temple, they ride the ride. Essentially taking a short trip through the outer edges and finalizing it with a upper hill of ascendance, and, well, your prayers are granted. Get wet, folks! The lizard god says get wet. I also have more original rides that need addressing. I do also want to say, again, that there is a mystery person behind this white dragon. I'm electing not to say who the person is, but I will tell you that their persona is a noodle derg, but the character that they wanted me to make this after is more of a Western dragon. Even though the ride itself, a dragon coaster, is basically... I'm going to pause real quick to show the coaster itself. This is despite the fact that the ride itself is based off of an Asian Chinese dragon. And with all the gemmies here, and it proves it right there, she wants your shinies. Or else she'll torch the place for it. You've seen me build this late in my... You've seen me build the scenery for it late in my series. Go check out that part if you haven't already. The playlist is right there. As far as coasters are concerned, I have another coaster that's original, and 2 more coasters original. This one, a boomerang. It's not necessarily original, but I tried my best to make it look original as possible. It's like an offset boomerang, where you don't necessarily get to see this action, or this action, but you still get the action happening. And the whole action of it, the Hellion, based on my buddy, my good local Florida bud, Araman Foxtrot, now known as Helion. I've given him this, well, formerly known as the Underrang, with a little bit of a twist, if you will. See this mist? Cuban smoke. I tried my best to make Cuban smoke under there, and if I'm careful with it, I can try to go underground and show off what's exactly going on. And here's where things take a real dive. If I'm careful with it, I'm going to watch for the coaster itself, just to show you explosions happen. Or rather, wait a minute, because the coaster's not quite there yet. Let me wait on it for a little bit. Because right here, again, I tried my best to make Cuban smoke out of it. It wasn't a good success story, if you will. But over here comes the tricky part. I tried giving the impression that there were explosives hidden in this tunnel. I don't know why I put explosives, but it kind of fit the bill for the Helion if you think about it. I'm pretty sure if the man himself can try to get a sense of all of things, then he'll get something. But just now that the ride's going, I'll let you guys watch as the coaster comes in and... boom! Explosion. And unfortunately, due to, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it as I zoom out, but due to limitations with triggerable stuff in this game, the explosion actually has to happen twice. Once in one direction, there it is. Once in the forward direction, and then once in the backward direction. I have no idea how to make that work, so... maybe if anybody has an idea of how that works for maybe future projects, whether personal or on stream over on Twitch, please feel free to let me know. I'm gonna go back over to this side of the park where we end up with another wild mouse. This particular wild mouse, you may have seen me build the mouse hunt themed structure around the spinning wild mouse in a previous part of the Let's Play. But this is also based off of a workshop coaster, which has been modified slightly in terms of colors to essentially just be all like, oh, I'm gonna make this I'm essentially gonna make this based off of a character by the name of Void Fulf, owned by the very lovely Void Alcantara over on Twitch. One of my Twitch viewers got this. Yeah, and every single bit of this, the structure, the mouse hunt themed stuff, everything is colored after the Sona. What I couldn't get was basically this little... You see these yellow and red mice? There's no way to color them. There's no way to color them, there's no way to put new images on them, nothing. Can't really do much about them. So that's the only thing that hasn't changed. Other than that, pretty good design. Although, as many of you may already know, I couldn't necessarily finish the whole ordeal because it had to interfere with the next ride that I'm about to go after, and that goes to my good blue buddy Delta Husky, which got the recreation of the Alpinabahn portable coaster, but colored in his colors, although there are some mishaps that happened because the person who designed this, unfortunately, bunched up a couple of supports here and there. So let me go ahead and just delete these. and just get those out of the way to make it look nice. To be honest, how many of these structures bunched up together do you need to make this the best you got? I mean, unless I've bunched up the scenery myself in a previous Let's Play and I never even bothered, then how would I know about that? It's like it's... Yeah, it's like everything's bunched up together in just one place. I'm pretty sure the other compact traveling coaster design has the same problem. But yeah, this is for my bud Delta Husky. Great racing guy. I've figured if anybody wanted something themed around racing, then this would be it. Except I never bothered with the flags. I didn't want to bother with the flags too much. The colors just fit the bill no matter what color I put. The person who uploaded the workshop item had an option to have a fountain. And I asked Delta about it, and he was like, get rid of the fountain, so I did. So basically, it's just Alpinabahn, but without the fountain. Good stuff. Moving on to this other ride I have, going to my other Twitch bud by the name of Nocturne the Wolf, who also on Discord goes by Sage the Protogen. Both of his characters are on here, the Nocturnal Sage, Nocturnal to represent his Wolf Sona, Nocturne the Wolf, and then Sage to represent his Protogen Sona, Sage. In the context of things, I've kind of like how this one turned out amazingly well with the triple looping traveling coaster design. It's really impressive with the black to indicate, oh, you're on Nocturne's turf, but then Sage gives you the loops. And and the station. Don't forget the station. To represent the multicolor, I kind of wanted to have something with two personas on it, and Nocturnes just fit best with this one. All I can say right now in terms of coasters that never got people on their rides, I've decided to keep Jungle Road, Clear Ice, Temple Adventure, and maybe one or two other rides the same to keep them... Yeah, Gunslinger, another one. Horror Heights, Eerie Elevation, another one. I decided to leave those alone to give them the honor that they deserve to stay in my park the way they are. Oh, and Jungle Drift all the way over here, this River Rapids, also was unmarked. Kind of want to leave a lot of coasters unmarked just to give them the honor they deserve. Now, speaking of recreations, I also have a recreation of a Busch Gardens Virginia ride by the name of Griffin. The diving coaster has been turned into an Aethon ride here in Planet Coaster, and fittingly enough, I've decided as one of my first two coasters that got people on their rides to give this one to a fellow Twitch streamer by the name of Swizzle Griffin. Now, this is very different from the original ride that I gave him because I also have added trees to the mix, as well as, not to mention, adjusted the plateau a little bit to separate not only the Jalen Land sign back here, but also you have a little family of Swizzles down here watching over our friendos as they're waiting to dive into the next tunnel. Imagine griffins living underground. Who'd have thunk? Are there any griffins that live underground? Again, never know, but still, it was worth the effort. But going on to this particular coaster here, another original design. This one, I've made a little mountainous bobsled coaster. Well, I'll give you the story right now. This is airplane themed, but you never know with a lot of these things. This bobsled is designed specifically for the likes of one of my good buds over on Twitch by the name of Darius the Snow. Big purple snow leopard who deserves his own little version. It's a small snow lodge, but I kind of get the bill where you're coming from. I do actually want to put this up as a blueprint as well. Make kind of a larger, lodge, to say the least. I'll try to work with some people to give an idea of how this will work. But, of course, this snowy area, I do want to include as a blueprint. The boulders, yes. The snowy area, it's kind of a iffy statement for the lot, but if you guys like what you see, then I'm pretty sure you'll like the blueprint. Other coasters that could get blueprints are my Mama Pika Foxes. Maybe this wooden coaster over here deserves a blueprint as well. I'll definitely have a chance to get that in place. It does have a Planet Coaster firework, and there's another firework that goes off too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the moon to represent the wolf moon. I also have a log flume all the way back here for another person over on Twitter by the name of Skip the Wolf, another underage furry who deserves a lot of love even as they turn 18 in the future. Gotta give love to the underage people in this fandom. You never know where they're gonna go and whether they're gonna deserve all this. But yeah, they deserved a log flume that deserved a foresty area fit for a wolf. And of course, a dive into a river where a wolf can wash himself. If they so choose. So yeah, I'm going to consider putting my coaster, the Pikachu coaster, the wooden coaster over here. I'm also going to include the log flume as a blueprint. I'm going to include Darius's ride all the way down there as a blueprint. But I also have this King Dakar Top Thrill Dragster thrill ride for another Griffin furry by the name of Mango Tail. Zoomies with mango, if you will. It's basically just one of those hold on tight stuff. Hold on tight. It's gonna be fast. I try my best to put my own, like, New England accent on top of that, because there's a little bit of a mixture of... Well, I'm trying not to spoil too much. But yeah, basically, as you may have seen, it's the same concept that I've built in the last part that I did this one. It opens up like that, and then waiting here, and then all of a sudden, zoomies! With a simple firework all the way up there. Stars! Be a star on the zoomies. But I will tell you... Oh, and I didn't want to forget about the go-karts. I mean, I do have a terrible raccoon design for my good bud Van the Raccoon, Vanman 8885. For go-karts. Basically, Van is one of my good raccoon persona buds that also likes racing, and I've played too many Forza games with him so much that I've wanted to dedicate the go-karts track in this park exclusively for him. Even though I do kind of want to comment that it does interfere a little bit with my Pika Fox ride a little bit. I will try to adjust as needed and upload as needed if we will be. But yeah, should be good enough for you all. With that said, that is the go-karts, and of course the tunnel statement and whatnot. I've had a chance, if you could have seen very carefully that spotlight that just came out, I've managed to include rotating spotlights around the go-karts to give, at nighttime, normally at nighttime, especially now when it's that deep, the whole entire tunnel would be dark. You wouldn't even have a way to go. The lights, I've basically had the chance to negate that with the spotlights, and maybe a few other lights here and there, as promised from the electricity coaster. But yeah, and even in the whole entire, like, building as well, if I look in the building here, if we look carefully enough, and I think I'm going to go back to the nighttime to give you a better idea of how this works, you can see that all of this, the whole entire thing, is lit. That's a sequence. That's a light sequence inside that building. Imagine having a whole set of lights to light up your go-karts, even at night. By the way, when I do my Ride the Rides on Friday, just expect to see the rides happen at nighttime. I've been doing mostly during the day, but I think I want to try doing this at night. But coasters were not the only thing that peeps got. I also had the chance to decorate flat rides after some of my friendos. This first one with the big Ferris wheel, which is one of the first rides that were built, by the way, in this ride, I gave to a Swedish wolfo by the name of Swode, to represent his Swoden. If I go all the way over here to this particular ride, this little swinging ride, I gave it to another Pika Fox fan member by the name of Foxy0680. And it's themed around Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's. Basically what his persona is based off of. Then we also have this little lit-up scissor ride after a longtime local Pokefur bud by the name of Riley the Riolu. I haven't seen him in a long time, though. I do need to hang out with him a little more. See you at Megaplex, bud! And yeah, for those of you attending Megaplex in August of 2022, by the time you're seeing this, August 3rd... that first weekend of August 2022, if you're going there on those dates, maybe I'll see you there. And if it's already happened, hopefully I did and got the chance to give you a good say hi. But anyway, on to the other coasters. I'm just gonna breeze through this. A good old UK fur by the name of Zephyrdirk got this little flight simulator, Dragon Flight, with a cute little fantasy-themed dragon to indicate. And speaking of dragons, I also got another dragon-themed coaster, which got a little protective cover, the safety of a dragon shelter for my good Tyler Rubium, who I'm also going to be seeing at another VR furry convention by the name of Furrality. If you're going there, I'll see you there. One of my viewer Dragon Furries also got a ride, a swinging coaster, if you will. This is a cyborg dragon by the name of Easel, by the Twitch name of Mr. Stab Toxic. This is a swinging ride. Fantastic stuff. And as I breeze through, oh, I love building this. This one, for a fellow Floridian fur and very good viewer of other folks by the name of Birthday Bunny. We actually had a little inside joke to not just for the name. Well, for the name, of course, that's the inside joke. The colors are based off of the persona, but for the name of it itself, we had an inside joke where Bunny's laugh is actually, well, if you heard Bunny laughing, it almost sounds like Goofy laughing. Ugh, yuck. I'm gonna take a break from the flat rides though, because I've got two more coasters that need to be dressed because I missed a lot of those. Hylian the Wolf, another good bud of mine, got this hyperspeeder, this hyper coaster. With, at the end, I've decorated with fireworks. Originally, I had it built with water fountains, which I never even bothered trying to figure out what to do with them. So instead, the tunnels have flames. I'm trying my best not to... Oh, actually... And there's lights on the thing, so... In one direction, the flames go like that, and if you go in the other direction, the flames will go that direction too, so... That's just an example of how that works. And underneath my coaster, I have this recreation of Corkscrew from Alton Towers, which I've happened to have a chance to decorate for one of my best Twitch mods, and the mod that bullies me all the time on Twitch, heck, by the name of Redo the Husky. I believe, if I remember correctly, Redo went to Alton Towers once, and I kind of wanted to honor that by giving him the Alton Towers recreation. So I did. Basically, it's just Corkscrew, but with Redo's colors. And also, before I go into the flat rides, those of you on Twitter may have seen it before I started the first giveaway of coasters, but I did actually put up new signs on the gravestones in Mystic Manor. Both of them are honors and tributes to two great furries that I've gone to know over the years. Kyle, aka Tall Werewolf, and the fluffy green yeen by the name of Kiwi. Her last words, hold my beer and watch this. And then Kyle just wanted uwu. Just uwu. A basic furry theme uwu. I had nowhere else to put for them, so I just wanted to honor them in some way, and by God, they're not actually dead. Maybe in here I kind of wanted to fit the bill a little bit, because in the original Mystic Manor workshop, the person who made it, I believe his name Zaphor, he had honored honored gravestones for Nerdcube, those of you know that YouTuber, and another Planet Coaster and simulation YouTuber by the name of Silverette. Those are the originals on these two tombstones. I've wanted to provide a more furry-themed, because this is a furry-themed park anyways, so Kyle and Kiwi got him instead. Back to the flat rides. Oh, and these shops, I wanted to give attraction to the area to get peeps across. To the flat rides still, I have another Void Alcantara ride dedicated to her other persona, Ziggy Coyote, a coffee-themed coyote. Why'd I choose this? Coffee mug. The coffee mug is actually in the colors of the Void Fulf, but the coaster itself is based off of the Ziggy Coyote, and this is basically a centrum which tilts. And the tilt, if you think about it, imagine you're tipping your coffee. Imagine that little spinning centrum is your coffee. Tip it up, and there you go. I may include ride skins like this on the workshop too, if you guys like this. So, maybe in the coming days after the upload. But for now, just enjoy what you see here. A cupcake shop dedicated to Sly Fox Lover TV, another Twitch streamer that I know and love, got this particular chair swing, if you will. Chair around a cupcake. Imagine you're riding a cupcake if you think about it. And it's fitting too, given that your store nearby it is all sweets. Your Stay Puft marshmallows based off of the actual brand from Ghostbusters, as well as your Sugary Emporium nearby. Aside from Clear Ice and the jungle entrance to the monorail, I have... Those of you that don't know me very well don't know that I have another character that I'm still writing a backstory for, and I kind of wanted to build a little bit of suspense for it. But in the meantime, while I wait for the backstory of him to come forward, I've decided to make a ride dedicated to the adopt I got a long time ago, by the name of Berlioz. I'm trying to get the proper pronunciation for it. But here is the ref courtesy of an artist by the name of Fish, who many of you may know from Kyle, aka Tall Werewolf's old YouTube channel, used to go by the name of Echo. Fun times, and even so, if you notice from the paw prints, I've even had a little chance to go for a green and blue theme, and at the top of the tower, the paw pad to indicate his colors. But in the same area, I also have the Big Temple, a multi-story, well, not necessarily multi-story temple. It's a sky temple, and it's cut in the middle to basically give the premise of this temple itself, and to give the rising temple a chance to rise to the top. This one is dedicated to Nocturne's lover by the name of Lovely Liz. And what's this about the colored balls on the sides? Well, Liz's persona, if I could get the chance to have Editing Jalen put her ref up, Liz's persona has sparkles on her leggies. So I decided to include a little bit of that, and if you're careful to notice, I have emitters on top. What they should pop out is a little colored confetti that should, if all goes well, match the colors of these little balls. I mean, you could see a little bit of the confetti, but yeah, it's all multicolored. It's basically the same kind of color the sparkles were on Liz's, or are, actually. It's still the same on Liz's legs. But yes, I tried my best to put sparkles on, and this is something that still irks me even after I've completed the ride. Going inside, those with agoraphobia might not like the idea that this whole section, especially even on the other side, is open. This whole area is open, the entrance area is open, and on top of that, we have a Haya Sushi and a Chow Mein Chow. Both brands wanted to be a part of the mix in the Asian-themed temple. Don't know why I wanted to put Asian-themed across. I guess I wanted to try and get something out of Okami, but again, the Qi Dynasty, the Qin Dynasty themed Chinese temple style was the only thing that was in the Planet Coaster itself, so I couldn't get anything Okami related, because Nocturne himself played Okami. but I try my best to get something Qin Dynasty related to try and give that a little Asian flavor to Liz's ride. So that's that section down. Onward to the other side of the park where, before I go any further with this, I also have this mini carousel with torches across, ode to a Hotto Doggo, Hot 022, which I usually see on VR chat nowadays. The hot dog around, a carousel, if you will. If I go forward onward to the rest of the rides, I also end up with a bunch of other rides as well. For instance, La Nehru Husky, another person that I regularly see Kiwi Fox's stream, or no, Kiwi Yeens, sorry, Kiwi Yeens streams with. Forgive me, I make mistakes a lot. Got the chance to get a ride of their own with, well, their Sona has symbols on them, but I only opted to only include a few of those rooms, just because there wasn't enough room to include everything. Right next to it, there's another snowy Immortal of a White Fox themed hammer swing. Immortal, another viewer over on Twitch. Don't remember if they have a new name now, but that's how I know them by. Immortal the Snowy White Fox. And here, another workshop-themed item attached to a ride. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a bald eagle, or trying my best to get a bird, a little bird, a guardian bird over this Aethel Wolf-themed ride for another mod of mine by the name of Malachi Greymane. Trying to get some Aussie flavor into my ride, into my place as well. Who knows? It's a small world. But yeah, the whole flight-themed area, as well as another one for Malachi Greymane of Malachi and Michaela. A bumper cars specifically themed for that persona. And on top of that, another Arctic wolf. Another Arctic character, a Arctic wolf, got a spinny elixir ride. Elixir machine, I'm sorry. The elixir machine here, dedicated to my good longtime bud, Blitz Arctic Wolf. Have fun with that, bud. I also have another long-term friendo that got another ride, as I'll show you later on. But first, more new peeps, because my other mod, Xylanthef, got this tandem ride, which, as many of you may know, the Planko Discord community gave me the idea to put this Zozo in, and surprisingly enough, it gave me a lot of good ideas because the prestige on it was so high, and it was a maze. And Xylanth got a little bit of a like medieval. Is it medieval? Bavarian-themed styled housing as well. I put the Bavarian-themed Professor Worst store nearby because I wanted to keep that theme going, even though Zoomies with Mango isn't necessarily that theme. It's just a small themed area, not to worry. Moving forward with the flat rides, going down here near Darius's ride, I have one for Gaming Wolf Fox, a fellow Wild Abandon member, good friendo of all of us with the smaller Twitch community. Please support small streamers. Who got the moved Screaminator, which is now located down here. I kind of wanted to have a little spot for the open space that was supposed to be here for terraforming reasons. And nothing over here? Oh well. But yeah, that's Gaming Wolf Fox. Moving forward, I end up with some more good buds. For instance, Kazuma G-Shep. Knowing him playing space-themed games, I decided to give him this. Well, there used to be a Victory pirate ship ride here, but now I've changed it to a spaceship-themed Blackout ride. I've given him the little spaceship, and its coincidental name, I decided to give it the OV621 Kazuma name. Take a wild guess why I chose 621. And then another Twitch furry got this particular double tandem Ferris wheel ride. His name, his name goes by Piddles the Husky, I mean Kibbles the Husky. Oh my god, we guys mess with their names so much that I'm trying to that I'm just messing with him already, even on video. Oh my god. But either way, he got this little flippy thing that really shines, in a way. Gets a little firework of its own. And for those of you that know, the Hyuk, or that little ride that was here, used to be over here. Even a victory ride and a tower used to be over here, but I had to make room for the lake, so who gives? And the more proof that it's a small world, I got a British Alexa Fox to have a chance to get this teacup ride. Alice in Wonderland themed, if you will, but I kind of wanted to give Destiny Husky the chance to get this ride. By the way, I nearly triggered my echo over there. God damn it. Speaking of flat rides, I'm gonna go brief. Balloony ride for a Shyflosion. An old Typhlosion balloon friendo of mine. I decided the particular covering here was supposed to be a thing for him. I kind of enjoyed that idea for him. Then we have this cube ride, which I just added in for another friendo on the Twitch scene that plays Planet Coaster, Keelix Liger. Go check him out. And I also got surprised at the prestige on this one, too. This one, well, it's not nearly the same as the tandem ride for Xylanth back there, but it was so big that I was like, oh my god, I'm excited for this. I also put my own little twist to the mix. And as I go forward, into the jungle area we go. Another one for my Mama Pika Fox, this one for her Persona Mocha. I couldn't get King Coaster down from the top of the Phoenix of this little it's not Phoenix Twister, it's Sunflare. Phoenix Twister's the name of the ride in RST3. I couldn't get him down, but he's still there, just hanging, just chilling, enjoying the jungle from the top. And then inside here we have a another twisty ride by the name for my other good bud that hangs out on Discord a lot, Slushy Wolf. He even gets a little waterfall on the side over here, which is the benefit of the doubt, honestly. And then over here with these flat rides, I have a tower coaster for another Twitch user, Hero Corgi. I even included a couple bits of the salvation symbol on Hero's legs. Then another good bud, Grey Sunday, got this smaller ride. I am not getting words today. And then fitting for the user, this Swift Drifters, this little carnival-themed drifty ride, went to Swift the Mun, who we like to hang out with a lot. And then another Pika Fox member, my good bud FoxyFan13, who likes to give the first hydrate of every one of my streams, got this loop-de-loop, what's it called, a meteorite? A Hellion Ring. And it's actually themed after his alternate superhero, Captain Foxy, which probably got introduced during Ferality Legends, if you will. So kind of wanted to get a little theming going on here. I never named the teacups. Silly me, I never got to name the teacups. There we go. Solved. Always gotta remember to do these things before recording, damn it, Jalen. Oh yes, another coaster. This other good bud by the name of Fire Tiger Paw, his persona with a couple of hairstyles to represent the rainbow colors of the LGBTQ community. I've tried to implement a little bit of LGBT in this one because I'm well, even though I'm straight myself, I do have some support for the LGBT community. It kind of makes sense for me to have a little bit of LGBT in my rides. And Fire Tiger Paw definitely deserved this one, even though I couldn't necessarily get all the colors on this ride because of the 4-color limits, as you can see over here. I kind of wanted to incorporate instead the colors on the walls over here to cover up a certain area. Have the rainbow from his persona somewhere else, if you will. And on top of that, another good bud of mine, Firecat, Firecat 2 got this ride. I tried to put blue flames around it because the blue flames on his persona. And it's a big one. It's a very wild and wacky, twisty, overpowered drop ride, or cyclo ride if you think. And now you'd think that would be it, but for those wondering, where's the other ride? Glad that you guys asked, because I go all the way back here. You guys remember that I built the Frontier-themed power moves with all the paparazzi there? And this was a good ride for me to be like, this is for you, the people that I never got to fit in this big theme park as it is. This was so huge, I never got to fit everybody. This will make up for it. This is your YCH, everybody. Take it as you will. Put yourself on it if you want to, why not? So yeah, on top of that, that is actually going to be it for this particular episode of Planet Coaster. I really enjoyed building this, and this was a hell of a lot of fun to build. I cannot wait until next time we see each other, when the final episode, the riding of the rides, goes into full gear. Stay tuned for that, because that's coming out this coming Friday when this video comes out. You don't want to miss that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, leave a like, post your comments, hit subscribe to the notification bell, share this video with your friends. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until next time!